So I support account execs. Own challenges when you're not a coder. So happy to provide any assistance where I can on how to network, work with the interviews, work with people, etc.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neil. So I guess I think let's get this as a discussion more. And if you can, stay on camera, that would be great. That would help this become more interactive, more engaging. So I wanna, introduce the folks, or let the folks introduce themselves, and we can get into a discussion of referrals. So if you guys are open to, unmute your mic and give a quick introduction about yourself, and then tell us what's your biggest challenge to find referrals. Anyone? Any courageous person? Rachana. Awesome. If you want to unmute and go ahead. Unmute. If you want to unmute first.
Sorry, very excited to say.
No worries, no worries.
Yes, I'm very courageous. My biggest challenge, I think there are many, not just one. I do not have any IT background, but I'm trying to jump into this lake where so many people already have so much experience. But that doesn't demotivate me at all, actually. And then second, I am in a new country. I'm in Canada. I've never been in Canada. So networking is another, for me, I see it. Going out is like, I haven't been anywhere in networking events, so I have to actually increase networking, I know. But in general, I just don't know that many people. But thank you very much, Ahmed, to you, actually introducing me to so many different groups. So I'm definitely going to start. But yes, these two right now, even though I am very courageous, I think still need some help from networking and like how do I improve my like you, Neil, like you said, not coming from IT background and like to jump in and to, even though you're not working on that specific coding and other, but you still have to have that basic knowledge to understand, to talk to people, to your client, to your colleague. So basically that's what I'm struggling with.
Okay, awesome.
Where do you live, Rashana? Where are you?
Ottawa.
Excellent. I'm just going to, so just in case anybody's in Ottawa, on October 3rd, Microsoft's having an AI tour at the Rogers Centre downtown. It's a huge event. So there'll be tons of people there to kind of walk around, get to know, get this feel of AI and attend sessions, etc. So that's be a really good start for you there. But yeah, I can chat to you about having to make
that would be great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I guess you guys need to maybe discuss offline, and chat. Neil is an amazing person, and he's.
That would be great. I'm gonna drop my LinkedIn here, Neil, and I'm gonna invite you on it, and then maybe we can just chat offline if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. So, in case anybody else is in Canada, I'm not sure how far along they are with this tour, where they've done the stops already, but take a look. I'm sure they're in other cities in Canada, and this is a full day event. As far as I know, it's a big day event.
Nice.
I thought about attending, but I don't really like I'm retired, so I don't like taking up spots from people that should be going. That I don't want to drive downtown.
We should go together.
I'm a little lazy in my retirement.
We should go together, Neil, maybe if we'd like to do this together. Okay, that's cool. So Rachana has two questions. What should I do if I'm not in tech? What should I do if I'm new to this country? So those are two challenges for Rachana. So let me try to take some of the answers, and then I'll pass it on to Neil because he might also share some insights. So I think getting into a new country definitely has its own challenges because you almost lose your network. You don't know anyone. You're trying to play safe. You don't want to look awkward. You don't want to look strange with people who doesn't know you. It's just like school days, when you're getting into new school, you don't know kids, and it's embarrassing sometimes. So how do you do that? I think you should try to first connect with your previous network. Your previous network has roots. So whatever country you're coming from, or whatever network you was using before, those people could have roots in the new location that you're looking for. So I'll give you an example on myself. When I immigrated to Canada, I came from the Middle East. I didn't know anyone in Canada at that time, but I quickly looked into my network, the people that I used to know from the Middle East, and I started to speak with them, and I started to call XYZ persons, and chit chat with them. Okay, now I'm in Canada. I'm looking for a job, and I just trying to connect with people. And then immediately one of my colleagues, oh, do you remember XYZ? He's now in Canada. He's working in a big company called XYZ, and you may want to connect with him or her. So immediately I took the shot. I spoke to my previous colleague, and then he knew me, and we used to work together. We used to play together squash, and some other sports, and I refreshed his memory, and he immediately remembered, and we had a very nice discussion, and then accordingly we built just a kind of relationship. I didn't definitely ask for a job from the first time. I just told him, I'm now in Canada. I'm looking after my family. I'm still settling down, and then accordingly, by the time we spoke more, he immediately said, okay, there is an opportunity in my company. You might give it a shot, and I'll maybe give you a referral. Well, that's what happened to me in my first few months when I came to Canada, and that was a great opportunity. I started with a small contract. It was 6 months contract, but it was still good for me to start with. So this could be one idea to help you if you're coming from another country, and you're not really having a good network in Canada. So always check your previous network, check your colleagues, check your relatives, check your friends, and someone might be connecting you to someone here. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you don't have a tech background, and that's even, I find it as an advantage, because you will be curious, and then people, you will reach out to some people, they will start feeling that they are helping you, they are starting feeling that they are supporting you, and this sometimes triggers some people to really become more helpful to you and others. So again, when I started to reach out to people during my first few months in Canada, again, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I had to learn. So I started to send some messages and see, like, go to some events and speak to people and just be normal. Like, again, I'm new to this country. I'm an immigrant. Oh, we were immigrants too. We've been in that phase before, and then they immediately started to, walk me through and help me and support me and maybe guide me through some questions or some insights that I didn't know about. And believe it or not, like in 3 months, me getting out of the door every day morning, and I used to take the OC Transpo, have the card and go outside of my home every day, even in the winter, just to go for workshops, for events, for anywhere that I can meet people, just to connect with new people, connect with the culture, connect with, how business works. In Ottawa, for example, there is a big organization called Invest Ottawa, and they have lovely events every day. Lovely events. I truly, highly recommend it for everybody. And in Toronto, something like this is called, I think, Mars Discovery, another big organization in Toronto, and they have workshops or webinars or sessions. You will first connect with a network with entrepreneurs, people who may need your talent, may need your help, may find you very useful for their current, let's say, gig or project, and this will immediately blow up your opportunities in terms of the number of opportunities or people that you can connect with. So I'll pause here. I'll pass it on to Nil to give some insights from what he used to do when he was looking for referrals for his job and maybe some other insights, and then give it back to you, Rachana, if you have a follow-up.
So just, Rachana, what training so two things. What kind of tech are you looking to do, and what kind of training have you done so far? What kind of skills do you have so far in it?
So skills-wise, in my past, I have done graphic designing and writing related to all the communication ins and outs of public sector communication, what we call it. And then technology-wise, so far I have done many software I had to learn during my time when I worked for the U.S. government, but learning basically. That will give you more opportunity rather than just coming to like where old technology. So right now I have AI 900, which I have done. Then Azure actually I'm doing right now, cloud and the security, that's what I'm trying to do it. So I did my Azure cloud certification, AI 900, and my third one I'm actually going to appear in the exam, which will be for the security and compliance for Azure. So that's my path right now, but I am definitely, I know it's a fundamental and I have to learn a lot. And for that, actually, I was hoping I don't know how to do some kind of hands-on, even it's a volunteering opportunity, just to play with the tools, to get familiarized with all those, how people use in day-to-day life, basically.
Okay, so I looked at your LinkedIn profile. So just in terms of, if you're not in a program, like it takes, so taking the certifications is great. Working on stuff to get to learn things is really fantastic. Your path towards a job doing that is going to be a long one. So I always tell people, look, the way I did it and the way it works for a lot of people is there's different avenues into these jobs. Most people tend to be very linear. I'm going to be a data analytics person or an AI person. I'm going to go learn all the AI and I'm going to get a job coding AI. I'm going to do that direct line. And that's what they laser focus on. They don't take the time to really take a look at what skill sets they've developed in the past and what skill sets they have now that they can bring through jobs that once they get into the organization can then help them get to the path that they want. It's an easier way to get there, but it doesn't necessarily always work, but it is an easier way once you get into these places. So for example, I had, a buddy of mine hooked me up with a Sun server way back. I mean, we're talking about the 90s. Like I was already building PCs in the 80s and stuff like that, but I was a geologist, right? So, and a geoeconomist. I didn't really enjoy working in the bush, but I ended up going into sales because I'm fortunate to be, I know I'm pretty engaging. I know I don't have a problem with relationships and talking to people. And so I went through the sales path. I was an account exec. I got on in a computer reseller and then to Lexmark as a sales rep. And then I got to Oracle as an education territory manager. The pre-sales people saw me presenting and recommended me to the pre-sales manager because that was the kind of skill set. As a pre-sales manager said to me when she saw me present, I can't teach those skills, those interpersonal skills, but I can teach you the tech. And so you have a very strong communication background. You jumped on right away. You're very engaging, and you've done a ton of communication work and interaction work and things like that. So these are very strong skill sets that are very, with people who tend to go into coding quite often don't have these skills. So it can be a little challenging for them, in particular with networking. The other one you have is the TS clearance, the top secret clearance in the US. Now that doesn't translate right away to the Canada. You don't automatically get TS, but it's an incredible start. If you've got top secret clearance in the US, that piques interest here in Canada. Any of these kind of NATO clearances do that. So the federal government is a strong possibility for you. So in the meantime, so what I always look at is how can you take advantage of these skills that you have right now? So if you're really good at presenting and you can communicate with people, where can you start developing that and build that and sort of look at jobs or opportunities or ways to do that while you're trying to learn this stuff? Because if you're not working, you're losing money every day. So if you can get a job, and in particular one where you see a path where you could get into IT eventually or do that stuff, work your way through different channels to get there. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is a really great way to do it. And then you're not, I had to make sure I was working. So I did a path that way. And having like a ton of government experience as well, like, yes, the government's laying off, but they're not, they are and they aren't. They're doing it through attrition, but they still need to have positions filled. And positions filled by people that can make security clearances is a big one. So I wouldn't be, like, you're in Ottawa, and it's the biggest employer, so it's a great spot to have a look. In particular as well, there's opportunities with consulting firms in the Ottawa area that they, as you know, what the federal government does in the States and what they do pretty much everywhere is they don't like to show the number of FTEs they have because that doesn't sound good politically sometimes. They'll use consulting firms to do a lot of the work. So there's quite a bit of ways to get in that way too. But again, I would suggest you pick a path from a tech perspective, hardware and networking and things like that. So it's great that you're doing these. I'm really hesitant to tell people to sign up for schooling, to not necessarily get anywhere, or a degree, a diploma. These, like, just learning it online, plus supported by certifications, because there's so many people with these skill sets and these resumes already out there. What's your feeling on this one, Ahmed? What's been your experience?
Yeah, no, again, I always, tell people, don't invest in education unless the job absolutely needs it, So I try always to do this reverse engineering. So find the job first. Which one do I really need to land or I like? And if I don't know which job is that, I need to do a ton of information interviews and researches until I'm very clear about what job do I need to land. And then once I have that job clear to me, then I need to understand what are the requirements, what are the job description requirements, so that I invest only on those things. So I should not go to take a diploma or a course. Yesterday we were doing a cybersecurity group, and people work in cybersecurity without any education. They just learn. Sometimes, again, depending on the company, so many people are doing it without any degrees, without any diploma. They just practice labs. They do some try hack me. There's so many websites today that can help you with that. So again, those are my 2 cents. I always tell people, don't invest money and time and energy in a degree unless it's absolutely needed for the job, and that this is the job that you're looking for.
Yeah, it really depends on the speed which you want to get there. And there's no guarantee that just because you got the degree, you're going to get the job. And that's the problem, because you're competing. So that's why I'm kind of, well, not nowadays, this is why I did it, was look at ways you can get into, if you want to get into the industry, how can you get into the industry if the direct route isn't really available for you in a timely manner? So I wasn't a programmer, and back in those days, you didn't have all these resources online. You had to go back to school. I couldn't afford to go back to school for 2 or 3 years with a young, actually I didn't have the young family at the time. I had it once I got the jobs, but I was heading that way. So what I did invest in was the Dale Carnegie, because that helped me with confidence and presentation skills, interpersonal skills. And that was because I knew I wanted to deal with customers. That part, I knew I wanted to deal with customers. I can sit there and do the work, but I really get fired up dealing with people. So that from then it was, okay, how do I take advantage, improve that skill set to get me into the IT, to then take advantage of that kind of work. And that was sales. doing sales, and then I moved over to the technical side of it. And so that's kind of so going into, let's say if you go into the government or something like that here, if you get in through communications or whatever through, I don't know, our version of State Department, there's such big departments. There are ways you can move into these other groups, like into IT and things like that. And even if you looked at shared services, so shared services is the big organization that manages all the infrastructure up to the OS, and they are taking back all the cloud stuff too for the entire federal government. Well, the SSC departments, they're called. There's a bunch of agencies that don't fall under them. And this organization is not just IT. Like they need communications. They need expertise in dealing with other organizations. You have a significant expertise dealing with like our version of foreign affairs would be something skill set there. So where can you take these skills you learn in anybody? Take a look at the skills, the experience you have. How can you apply it to help that organization work with other organizations, other groups within there, et cetera? And then once you get in there, you start networking like crazy to figure out how to move into these other groups. There's lots of ways to move into these IT groups, and in big organizations especially. In smaller organizations, you do multiple jobs. So your job as a communications person could be the marketing person, could be, hey, guess what? You're building the website today, the full stack website, or you're going to be doing all this. And you just, see what I mean? And that goes for anyone. Really think about what you've done in the past is not throwaway at all.
100%.
Never think of it as throwaway, ever.
100%. Chana, do you have any follow-up? I want to move to the next point.
I think I took almost half of your time, so I'll let other people speak.
No, this is good. This is good.
For everybody else.
No, this is amazing. Okay, so I want to now maybe do a quick exercise to make sure that we practice what we preach, how to get referrals in this market. So I would like to get maybe 2 volunteers, if, there is 2 folks here who would like to volunteer and be on camera and work with me on how to get referrals. I'll do this live with you guys so that you know how to do it afterwards. Is there anyone? Again, I need 2 persons. If anyone is courageous enough to get in the spot and do this with me, again, I promise this is not going to be tough or embarrassing. It's going to be easy. So I just need 2 persons. Anyone? Rachana, do you want to be one of those?
I'm sorry, Ahmed, can you just say it again?
Are you able to, do this exercise with me? I'm just looking to exercise how to find referrals live with...
Oh, yes, I will be okay with that.
Okay, awesome. Ghadir, do you want to be the other person? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, Ghadir and Rachana, I want you first to introduce yourself to each other. I want you, again, to, as if you're both, you used to do, and what are you looking for today, in terms of jobs or in terms of roles. And the same thing I want Rachana to do. So let's start with you, Ghadir, first, and then Rachana. I think you already shared some information, but we'll give you a chance to do it more. Ghadir, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Rachana. My name is Ghadir. I'd like to give you a little bit about myself. I'm a software developer, but actually I have a background in physics. After I came to Canada, I switched my career into programming, and I really loved this field, and I would like to continue in this area. I have some experience during internships, and recently I was working on a freelancing project, which gave me a lot of experience. And now I'm looking for another opportunity in software engineering.
Awesome.
So this is about me. I'd like to know more about you.
Rachana.
Sure. Yeah, it's my turn. Hi, Ghadir. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Okay, I think it's very important to start your name right. So I'm Rachna, and like I mentioned before to Ahmed and Neil, I did work for public sector for the U.S. government since last 7 years consecutive, and then before that I worked for nonprofit organizations. I worked in Asia, Africa, and North America, of course. But recently I stopped because of the policy changes and everything everybody knows. So that's why I'm right now in the market. Since I have my background in connecting with people, basically, different forms of communication I have done, which I love. That's I think, one unique thing that I connect with people very nicely. So I'm definitely going to bring that. But at the same time, I was thinking, because the reason I picked IT, because this is something, I think it's going to stay. When we talk about marketing skills and all the stuff, this is something is just, even though any AI, whatever comes, I just feel like to be in the market, to compete in the market, this is something is just going to be forever until human, disappears, I think. So understanding how this industry works, and then every industry needs like different kind of people. One solo cannot survive anywhere. So that's where I just feel like like Neil said, I'm looking into the role where I can bring my old expertise to build on, and then thrive on something new, challenging, whether it's on and off IT based, like wearing different kind of hats. I definitely want to start with my communication stuff to, I think, will be a little bit more easier to find something. But I definitely want to continue in IT somehow, like umbrella kind of.
Amazing. This is good. So this is the starting point. So again, I just wanted this introduction so that both of you at least know a few things about each other. And again, this is as if you're speaking to someone that you knew from before, so as if both of you, Rachana and Ghadir, you were friends for a long time. You somehow reconnected now, back to reconnection. You've been friends since maybe 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, and now you're reconnecting. So what I want you to do, both of you, again, is think about 5 or maybe 4 people that you know closely who can help the other person. So if you recall, for example, Ghadir, whatever, people that you knew from the university, people that you know from previous location, that could help Rachana with her goal. And the same thing, I want Rachana to think about 5 people or 4 that you know that those people would be helpful for Ghadir to connect with, So let's see, let's start with you, Ghadir, first. Who are those 5 people that you think Rachana needs to connect with? And again, you feel free to use your LinkedIn, search or whatever you remember. Those could be your cousins, brothers, or whoever who could be in that space to help Rachana. And it's okay if you want to ask Rachana more questions to get clarity about how to help her.
Just one thing to add there. Sorry. So I dropped my LinkedIn profile here. If you just go ahead and send me the invitation, I think we can connect offline as well, just in case, other people want to speak. So we can also chat afterwards as well. That's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
So
go ahead.
To like me to say some names, or
no, again, you don't need to share names for now. Maybe you can do this offline, but at least if there is some people now that you think they are useful to Rachana, just give her some direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Rachana, can you please what or what are the specific rules that you're hoping to work on? Again?
Sorry, could you please repeat it again? I was just, for some reason, it was just breaking.
Yeah, maybe it's from my side. What are the specific rules that you're looking to work on?
specific, I don't have anything, but something to have the administration related to communication, which can deal a little bit, managing a little bit of overall project, like touching a little bit of IT, but managing project basically.
Can you make that clear for her more, Rashana? Because it seems like she didn't really get how to help. Again, you need to tell her how to help you so that she can really help you.
Sure. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So basically, if I can connect with somebody who is into IT firm who has any global affair department where they're looking to find somebody internal or external communication-based role, where because most of the time, like internally when you communicate, there are many different projects you actually work on to communicate to senior executives. So that kind of role I'm looking at.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't really have anything right in my mind, but definitely I will go through my LinkedIn, and if like I have a lot of people in my network, so yeah, like if I find anyone who might be helpful, for sure, like I will share their profile with you, and maybe also like I can make an introduction.
Okay,
that would be great.
What comes in your mind again? Whoever is helpful. It doesn't need to be in the same role. Someone that this person is always helpful. Maybe just speak with that person. Who would that be? Other than me, maybe.
Actually, like I might recommend, there is a program called WR Connector. This program, it connects people who's looking for a jobs with people who already works in this area. From my understanding, like I live in Kitchener, in Waterloo area, and we have this program, but from my understanding, this program, it runs from multiple cities. So most likely, I guess in Ottawa, they should have same program. So this is the first, like this one, it really helped me regarding networking and meeting people, because you tell about like what you're looking for and they match you with someone in the area that you want to get into.
I love it, Ghadir. This is really great information. So Rachana, I think this is a good insight. This would open so many doors for you. So now it's your turn, Rachana, to give back to Ghadir.
Sure, Ghadir. Even though I am not into developing kind of a role situation, but I have few people in my network. I can connect you. You said software developing, and what else you said? What other you did?
So I did. I worked as a full stack developer, so I can do the front end, back end development. Okay. So like kind of a programmer. And also on the last project, I did the UI UX design, so it was a good experience.
So I don't have much knowledge. I do understand a little bit front end and back end, but I can definitely connect you with at least 2 or 3 people who I know very close to me. They might be very, very helpful to you because they are in front end and back end, and then they are a little bit of senior role as well. So if nothing else, you can just ask them, like they can connect you with someone else as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that not what I should have said?
Amazing. This is amazing. So again, I just wanted you guys to experience this live and see how this works. So as you noticed, Ghadir and Rachana both asked clarifying questions on how to help. And this was very important for both of them to know how they should find the person. So the more they speak, again, it was a very short time, that they had to discuss together, and they didn't know each other from before. But the more they speak together, the more they will find some common ground, the more they will find some good connections. Even both of them are new to the country, or asking for a referral, you try to help and try to also ask clarifying questions, and don't assume that the other person is aware about what you need. Even if you're friends for years, that does not mean that they know you, that they don't know what you're looking for. So the more clarity you give to the other person, the more this will be easier for them to help you. So I'll pause here. I'll let Neil also give some maybe insights about how did he feel about this, and what could we do better maybe from a referral point of view. Neil, do you want to share any insights here? And if you're speaking, you're mute.
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult, right? If you don't know people, they're not going to necessarily refer you right away until they've had time to get to know you and understand what value you bring, because their reputation is on the line as well. So I've had people ask me to refer them, and I knew that I worked with, and I thought were not exactly nice to me when I worked with them, and I'm like, why would I do this? And then they got really angry when I said no. So there's a number of ways that you can get to the referral part of things, as well as to do the networking. Part of it is, if you're not sure where you want to work or the type of work you want to do, or you cruise through LinkedIn and you see people that are successful in these careers, and you look at their resumes and you're going, wow, how did they get there? These are the people you can kind of reach out and just see if they'll take the time to talk to you about, how they got there, making it about them, that you're interested in what process. The more information you can gather around that, this is a way to also get to know people that will then eventually refer you as well. So specifically people for you, Rashana, whoever, in the cities that you live in, where you can actually possibly meet up person to person for a coffee, because nothing's better than a face-to-face, frankly. And so you'll be surprised how many people, there are definitely people that are going to be like, I'm too busy, whatever, that just, but they'll be surprised how many people are actually thrilled that somebody is interested in how were successful and the advice they can give to how to get there. And then they may know something to then provide that kind of referral information. But it's a matter of, I hate to say this, but people are easily flattered. It's actually pretty shocking. I don't mean go over the top or anything, but the fact that you pay attention to someone and that you're really interested in them is going to get them on your side. They will more likely refer you if you're really digging into, like, this is really great. You have a really interesting, like, whatever. We're all like this. So most people are like this. So, so that's usually, I did that. I mean, I didn't go around telling everybody they were wonderful or anything like that, but I did try to get to know people who were successful doing the kind of work I wanted to do. And it paid off really well for referrals and things like that. Just trying to, and this could be stalking people on LinkedIn. It could, following people on LinkedIn or whatever, but don't assume that people don't want to talk to you. Everybody's afraid to make that initial conversation. It's basically sales 101. Just nothing wrong with asking. If they say no, okay, move on to the next.
Exactly.
There's thousands of these people out there who will, so many would love to share their experience with you of what they did. And in your case, it's, you're going to need to also talk to people that have made the move here too, as well. And I think Ahmed is in a way better position than I am around that.
Yeah, no, you're definitely a good connector too, Neil. So again, as you just saw live, this is how you do referrals. This is how you get to learn more about people, and your mindset is very, very important. If you're trying to speak to someone with the mindset that you're just transactional, like, just give me a name, just give me a job, and go away, it doesn't work. So you have to care about you, and see if this process you can start implementing today by, again, going through your list, speak to people who you know already, and get them to know you more, and get them to see how can you help them. Ghadir, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So do you have any advice? So because we go to many events, we connect with people, and is there any advice how to maintain that connection for long term? Because we meet many people, we talk to many people, so I find sometimes it's hard to maintain that kind of relationship with everyone.
Very good
So
question. It's all about the quantity, not the quality, you know. So in human relationship, it's all about the quality, not the quantity. So if you know one person, just one person, who can really connect you with so many people, that's totally enough. You know, you don't need to invest in hundreds of people, you know. So focus on one or two or three persons that you feel like, you know, you have some good kind of feeling about this relationship, you know, like there is some, at least you feel like you're comfortable speaking to those people, you're not feeling awkward, you're not feeling shy, you're not feeling unsafe. You know, if this feeling comes to you, then those people are good to continue your relationship with them. How to make this relationship sort of thrive and survive is by, you know, connecting regularly, you know, putting some regular one-on-ones. So for example, for me, I used to have a very nice leader with Microsoft. She was a chief of staff, and we didn't work together. You know, she was doing something totally different. She's in the US, I'm in Canada, and but we had some good kind of relationship, like friendship. So we used to schedule one-on-one every quarter, every 3 months, you know, but still for 30 minutes. This made us connect every 3 months and catch up on what we both have new in our worlds. And maybe, you know, one day she told me, like, okay, there is some jobs here, there is some areas here, maybe you need to invest in that course. And I also did the same thing with her. You know, I told her, you know, check this book, check this webinar, check this podcast, and maybe check this opportunity. So that's how you do this. It doesn't need to be every day call, or every week, or every month. It could be every quarter. You know, this is something that you could both agree on to keep this relationship maintained and active. And you know, if for example you went and meet those people in a conference, or in a webinar or something, you just right after the event, send them a note on text or LinkedIn. You know, it was nice meeting you today at this place, and I would like to catch up with you later on. So then this keeps her or that person connected with you, and they know that we've met before. Because let's say if you want to recheck or reconnect after 1 month, they might forget, you know. So but if they go back to those messages, oh yes, I remember Ghadir, we met on this event or this webinar or this let's say place, and I now remember you. Does that make sense, Ghadir? Awesome.
Yeah.
Any follow-up?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, it's good. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, Deepak, go ahead, sir.
Hey, good morning, all. I'm a fellow job seeker as well. And thank you guys for arranging this call and getting some more useful insights about it. First thing I want to start off is regarding the LinkedIn connections. So I'm also reaching out to people on LinkedIn. The only thing that I find is like out of like 20 or 30 people that I reach out to, maybe one or two people responds back. And even though it's like a little bit hard, and especially if we are doing a networking event like this, right? So when I reach out to people, I'm pretty sure like I'll get like more responses rather than me reaching out to people who I'm not like well acquainted with, right? So is there any template that you guys want to follow in order to get like better responses? I know everybody's time is more valuable. I know some people are really helpful and they wanted to answer questions, because I was like that during my time when I was having a job, and even right now when people reach out to me, they always like respond back. within an hour or maybe maximum by a day, but I do respond. So I know I can't expect the same thing from other people, but just wanted to see if there's any template or anything else that I can follow to make sure that I get right connections.
Awesome. Good question, Deepak. So let me ask you first, when you reach out to those people, what do you tell them? What do you do as initial message with those people?
So I basically introduce myself, and then I tell them like I'm interested in the position that you're working on, and if you could just like give me some pointers or insights on how to reach out.
Okay, that's good. But what are you checking if they are active on LinkedIn first or not? Do you know if they are active or not before you send them the message?
For some people, yes. For some people, I don't, because basically I send like a request to the HR recruiters, right? So
Okay.
most of them are like active, right? So I know like they also get like bombarded with a lot of like
Okay.
messages on LinkedIn. So I'm one of those hundreds of people. There's an option where you can actually send a personalized email as well. So I
Yes.
do that too, but no response. And whenever I hit click on connect, there's an option to add a note or a personalized note message kind of thing. So I use that most of the time. And up till this point, I just got like a couple of responses. And even after getting responses, some people just like ghosted after that. So that's the most frustrating part it is. So I also like I'll give you guys an example. I don't want to take much of the time, but
No, that's
I
okay.
reached out to a guy at EY. So it was a referral from my previous friend, from my previous coworker. He's an HR manager right now. I reached out to them. I mentioned like this person referred to you, this person knows you, and all those stuff. And then he told like, yeah, I'll meet you on like Friday. We can just arrange a call. Like bugging him every single day, and yeah, no responses.
Yeah.
So this happened like a couple more times. So I'm a little bit
Yes.
frustrated.
So again, if you're only focused on HR folks, that's their attitude most of the time. Why? Because they get bombarded with so many requests, and again, put yourself in their shoe. They want to be fair, and they want to be responsible, and they are also representing their company. So if they reply to everybody on LinkedIn, they will not have time to do their job, first of all. Plus they might do some mistakes when they respond to you. Maybe they might give you some information or maybe promises that they shouldn't do, and that could put them in trouble. So the best way for them to handle this is by not responding. Sometimes, if you have a referral who know that person, it's better for that person, the common friend or the common referral, to do both, like a group message between you and that other person, and introduce you to them, so that they know that you're coming through that person, that connection, and then they will feel more warm about this rather than you sending them, because they might not even read your message. You're thinking you're sending this message and you're telling them that I'm referred by that person, but they're not reading it because they have hundreds of messages every day from so many people like you who has premium, who's bombarding them with messages. So I personally don't like to reach out to HR folks, because that's not the best way to land jobs. HR folks are, a good referral, you better look for a colleague, someone who's maybe doing the same position as you, or someone who will be interfacing with your role in that company. For example, if you're, let's say, developer and you're working with a product manager, maybe that could be a person to connect with. Maybe you're working with a CS, customer success, or project manager, or maybe security developer, or whatever, depending on your role and depending on that company roles. I don't recommend, if you're in tech, to reach out to HR, because they will immediately spot that you're calling them to get jobs, and that's a tough situation for them, and they may not be able to help you. Does that help so far, Deepak?
Yeah, that's understandable. But I also reached out to the EY person who was actually a consultant role, so he's not an HR. But yeah, I do understand the logic that you actually mentioned. So from your perspective, if you had to send out a message to a person or reach out to a colleague right on LinkedIn, is there any template that you would do?
Yeah.
Or
Again, it's, imagine this as if you're back to the school days and someone is coming, from outside to your group. If they come to you and ask you, okay, I like, what you did in this soccer game, and you played very well, and you did so many nice dribbles and so many things, and that person will start to like you, because you started to speak about them. But if you approach that person and tell him, you see how good I am, you see how nice I am doing with soccer, and you speak about yourself, that's not the way to build relationships. Again, this is human relationships, and more than anything, if you approach it like a human relationship rather than a transactional relationship, it will not be growing, or it will not be seeding. And the best way, we try today, unfortunately, most of us in tech are introverts, and we try to do this through the minimum effort. We think LinkedIn is the only way to get referrals, or the only way to get people to connect me to jobs. But just go to Eventbrite, go to Meetup, go to Invest Ottawa, go to local events somewhere in your area, that you meet real people. Those people will connect you to some authentic other people who can help you with your journey. But again, if you try to do this with the least effort, just clicking some buttons, while you're at home, it's not what everybody appreciates, and everybody is different. Some people would be open to those kind of relationships, some people will not. So again, it's not like there is one size fits all here. There is no magic pill. There is no something that if I tell you do this, then it will work all the time. It's not like that. It's human relationships. Humans are the most complex beings on earth. Does that help, Deepak?
Yeah, that's for sure. And we'll definitely follow that up. And nice point on that one, Neil. I did see that on the message. So I'll implement it. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And
sorry, finish what you're saying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So just to follow on what Ahmed said, so humans are the one thing about humans is they like to talk, for the most part, like to talk about themselves. They like it when people are interested in them. So when you're trying to get referrals and get to know, and you're looking to so what Rashan is trying to do, get into the industry, is talk to your friends, ask them if they know anybody who's in the industry, who's, let's say, a programmer or something like that you could at least talk about doing this job. How do you like doing this work? What is it about programming you like, what you don't like? Everybody, when you watch TV or you see all the news, it looks like you're staring at a screen, not doing anything. So you want them, because you're saying, I'm interested in this as a potential career, but I really want to get your advice, and that's going to make sure I know what I'm getting into. That's the big one, because you don't want to make a mistake. And so I found that certain aspects of it were not really what I wanted to do. So any of their advice, that's not you want to at least show that you're respecting them, because they will go, once you show them you're trying to do what they're saying, and it may not work, and you may not want to do it, so it doesn't really work for you. But if you do an aspect of it, you can say, look, I looked at thought of what you said, and for me, I thought I'd tailor it to go this direction, and what do you think, blah, blah, blah. People feel good about that. They feel like they've helped to want to help you even more. And so that's where you start building up the referrals after that as you go along. And then some people might say, you know what, I really, just in their first meeting with you, I really like your attitude. I think I know somebody who want to talk to you. Anyways, I think Marwan, Marwan had a question. He had his hands up. So
hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, yes.
Okay, hi everyone. So I just wanted to say something about what Ahmed was talking about, how the fact that you have to think about it like you're going to a new school and you're meeting your friends, and what I can say, it's not really completely related to like job search, so I can talk more about like my experience. When I live in Egypt, so like it's very different here, but also like the point of referrals works much more than maybe like US or Canada. Like here we call them something called wasta, and you like it's the higher your degree of referral, the much more likely you are to get a much higher position, even if you're very unqualified. So you'd be surprised at the power of like having someone or having a connection that's very like whether they're working in a company that you want to work at or something of that nature. And I think that applies everywhere, not just in Egypt. And when it comes to just like talking to people, I'm like getting accustomed. I had like really bad culture shock, and I was like, for the first few years when I joined university, I had a hard time making friends and talking to people and stuff like that. But with time, I got used to it, and I started to like break out of my bubble. And I think you can apply that exact same advice or like way of like connecting with people with LinkedIn or anything, honestly, where you really have to break out of your bubble, even if it's like if you're like an introverted person and you don't really you keep to yourself a lot and stuff like that. You usually have to go outside, like start talking to people more, join events, and things like that. And like Ahmed said, it's also a lot easier when you start with like the people you do know. So you connect with the people that you knew beforehand. Like in my case, when I moved back, I first spoke to like a lot of my friends who were Egyptian and also lived with me, like who lived with me in the UAE, and by a stroke of luck, they had moved back to Egypt as well. And we touched base, we got to know each other, and we started meeting up. And then I got to know more people and the more people you know, the higher chances are of just finding someone or like finding a job that you love or things of that nature. My last point, or the last thing I want to say, was the fact about like how many people do you want to know. And it's not a matter of like numbers and like knowing as many people as possible. Like you guys said, it is quality versus quantity. There's this really interesting topic or like this theory called Dunbar's number, and that actually says that the number of actual stable or like reasonable human connections or human relationships a person can have is 150. And if you like know past 150 people, you can't possibly like memorize their names and like where they work and how they are and their family and their siblings and so on and so forth. So it's not about how many. You don't need to know like 1,000 people. You just need to know like a select few who can really help you out in anything, like whether it's your like personal or professional life. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I need to ditch family members, I think. So, I need more quality in my life.
That's a good point.
That's an interesting comment, actually. You brought up some. So in Canada, when it comes to, it's always better to, up to a certain level, depending on the type of work you're looking for, who you're going to try to get sort of referrals from, etc. In Canada, you can get a senior person will give you a referral, and it's really just for a conversation with the hiring managers. They will then make the ultimate decisions because they are ultimately responsible. So they won't necessarily hire you, but it is a phenomenal way to do it because they will then direct you. They're much a better opportunity to direct you to different groups and different areas in their organization. And some of these super senior people know people in other organizations as well because they've been in the business a long time. So they'll know other people to talk to as well. And so that's a pretty quality. The more of these kind of quality people you talk to, the more lucky you'll get as well. If you don't talk to anybody, if you don't get out and you just think, I'm just going to get this by doing coursework and stuff like that, you're just not going to get lucky at all. But yeah, Marwan, it's an interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, Marwan, actually, you raised a good point here for all of you to try is your alumni. All of you have been in universities, you've been in colleges and in schools, those friends that you were taking lunch breaks with them and maybe going to lectures and going to movies, even when you're in high school or when you're in elementary, those people could be somewhere today that could help you land a job. So just again, refresh your memory, try to think about, XYZ person that you used to play together in the yard, long back. And those people could be CEOs now, could be, managers somewhere. They might help you, or even if they are not, in a position to hire you themselves, they might know someone who can hire you. So, again, it doesn't always work as a first degree connection. It could be a second degree connection. Again, I love the discussion today because it was very interactive. It was very engaging. And I want to, see if there is any questions you guys have, you want to ask or share. I know that we're almost above time, but we can maybe stay for 5-10 minutes more.
Mark, that's a really good point, actually. You don't know what they're up to. And you always have to keep the prize in mind here. This is not you're just asking to borrow some money or donate some money to somewhere. It's not, you're asking, you're trying to build your career here. This is about your family. So I always tell everybody to keep something, a moment, like a picture of your kids or something, to remind you why you're doing this hard work that's not what you normally would do on a daily basis, that's making you stretch. So I always like, you got to be mercenary about this. You got to remember with the eye on the prize here. And reaching out to old school friends like Mara is a fantastic suggestion. Maybe one person doesn't like it. Well, who cares? Like, you don't talk to them anymore anyways, but you may end up reconnecting with someone that was your friend, and hey, you're back reconnecting again. So it's just really trying to push down that fear of what the possible rejection might be, and just give it a shot and just keep doing it, and then you're going to get people that won't be interested, but you just need a couple of them to kind of go, hey, yeah, that's great. I'm glad you called. I wanted to know how you're doing, and be honest about it. So, look, I saw you're doing this, and I want to talk to you because I'm really interested in that. And you're just being honest. And then if you're just happy to reconnect. People understand these things. They get it.
Amazing. I think there is no more questions, so I don't want to keep you guys, here for the Sunday. Just a quick reminder that this week on Wednesday we have the job fair, and I have at least 3-4 recruiters coming to this job fair. Hopefully this will help you all with your journey. So if you don't have the invite, please go to Future Career page, check the events, and register for the job fair this week. Or if you don't find it, just send me a note and I'll share it with you guys. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Adir, Rachana, Marwan, Deepag, and everybody who's there today. I hope this was useful. I hope this was a good investment of your time. Stay positive, stay proud, and hopefully next time we'll cheer for you and get the job. Take care. Have a great Sunday. Bye.
Take care, everyone. It's great talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.